So now we're going to look at why mature brands die. And this in some ways becomes more complex because when you start off as, if you go into marketing, they're probably not going to put you on a new product right away. But if you just remember those 4 Ps, you'll be able to better bulletproof yourself against failure. What they're more likely to do is put you on an old geezer brand, like a mature brand. Like, what would be an example of a mature brand that's been around for a huge, long time? Anybody? Ivory soap, a great example, great example. Has Ivory soap changed a lot over the years, do you think? It's 99. They've come out with liquid varieties. It's still probably 99.44% pure. Yeah. They've come out with some different packaging, some extensions. The same way if we look at, here's the original box for Kellogg's cornflakes. Did it change over the years? Yeah, surely. But I'm sure the original cornflake, if you had it, it'd still be a lot like the normal one. But they've changed marketing, they've changed packaging and everything. And one of the things that we want to look at is what is it that causes mature brands to die? And I'm going to give some examples about this, but then we're going to be doing something together as a group in a little bit. Now, I'm going to talk about a few different brands just to give you an illustration as to why this happens. Now, initially, Brillcream, do you know what this product is? Kim?
I have a thing that guys wore to get to the...
Yeah. You grease your hair back. So remember, yeah, and so remember back when you're kind of like in high school, you dropped out of high school and you're on that, you're with the Jets, and the Jets were always fighting the Sharks or whatever, and you're always going West Side Story. What you'd put in your hair would be that black gel. That's how those guys in like West Side Story always had their hair greased back, or like Fonzie in Happy Days. If you ever see Grease, the movie Grease, or the play Grease, that's the sort of stuff they'd use to grease their hair back.
Oops. Now there's a happy accident. An accident that could lead to opportunity. But then he had to take off his hat. Poor guy. Dry, lifeless hair can take the fun out of your life, but you can put it back with Brillcream. With Brillcream, a little that'll do. Watch Brillcream put life in dry hair. Into your life. Brillcream gives your hair that look the ladies love.
Excitingly clean, disturbingly healthy,
Brillcream and put life in your hair.
And what do you suppose made Brillcream go out of fashion? It's not like you have to know this. You can probably just say, hairstyles changed. All of a sudden, it wasn't really very cool. It looked like was it the Jets and the Sharks? Or what was the? Is that okay? Okay. So one thing, things can just go out of fashion, but then what we need to figure out is what happened to make things go out of fashion. We'll be getting at that a little bit later today. So we have the same sort of thing going on now. We can't get to. So we'll be looking at revitalizing mature brands. So they're trying hard to revitalize themselves. But not all brands can actually pull it off. We have some bands that are incredibly famous ones, and when they die out, you say, well, how could that happen if they had everything going for them? Blackjack gum. Does anybody ever eat blackjack gum before? What would you do with blackjack gum? What was the cool thing to do with it? Or what did you do with it? What's it taste like? Yeah, it tastes kind of licoricey and stuff. So what did you guys do growing up with it?
But I like not eat it, but shoot it. Because I went to a penny candy store and they had that closed down demon.
Yeah, that's what. So what we always do is we'd always chew it, and then we'd kind of put it up over our teeth, and then we'd say, "Look, I'm from Nebraska." I grew up in Iowa. I grew up in Iowa, on the border of Iowa and Nebraska, so that's what we did all the time. I know you guys did it. They both grew up in Illinois, and you guys did it, and you always said you're from Illinois, Iowa, though, right? Okay. And then we're looking at something, and there's something called high karate cologne. And back in the mid-'60s, this was the most amazing aftershave out there. And what happened was that their entire campaign revolved around the idea that if you were to put this cologne on, you'd just become so totally irresistible to women that you'd have to learn karate in order to kind of keep yourself safe, okay? So it's like, I mean, so everybody, even 6-year-olds were trying to buy it, thinking it'd be magical. But these commercials were always crazy because they always had somebody, and at the time I always thought he looked like sort of like a real nerdy accountant or a real nerdy professor, and I think he probably did. But what would happen is he'd be walking on the street and he'd put this on, and then just wacky things would happen. Like women would run out of a building after him, or they'd roll out of a car that was going by, or they'd bungee jump down, or one of them parachuted, so he's just being chased by all these people, and he has to use this really uncoordinated kind of karate moves to try to keep them away. And if we take... Now, one of the reasons this is so unbelievably popular is there's this guy who was very, very famous, and he played Kato in the Green Hornet. Anybody know his name? Bruce Lee. What were the famous movies he did? Anybody know a famous movie? Enter the Dragon. Yeah, Fist. That's it. It's it. It's Enter the Dragon, like Fist of Fury, Fists of Dragon Fury. They enter the fists. It's all kind of. I think they're all sort of like these modifications of the same two titles. This guy's amazing because nobody had ever seen this karate and stuff. But high karate really lost steam and pretty much died out in about 1968 or 69, which is also happened to be the year when Bruce Lee died. Yeah. So some things you can't really, and I'm not sure, they've tried to bring it back a while back, and I don't think it actually did. But where we see this now being resurrected is here.
Hi there, I'm Denise St. Clair, and I am so excited to introduce my co-host for today's exciting event. Former champion of the Albuquerque Open, it's Monica Blake, everybody.
I'm thrilled to be here, Denise. Why don't we get started?
Absolutely.
So no one wants to play with dirty equipment. That's why you have to keep your balls clean.
Okay. Okay. And we've seen the same thing happen with fraternal organizations. A lot of fraternal organizations have kind of died out. I really need to watch all of those commercials before we put them up there. Oh, yes. Yes, you did warn me. Yes, I know. Jeez. But But we see this with movies and TV shows that die. Roseanne was one of the most popular TV shows back in the 90s, and she's trying to make a comeback of it now with it's a really interesting name for a show. I can't think of the new show. Yeah, I can't think of the name, but she's trying to make a comeback with it. So where we are, though, is if we look at the basic product life cycle, we really do ourselves and our brands an injustice if we say, okay, products, they're born, they grow, they mature, they decline, they die. Nothing we can do about it. Well, there's a ton of things we can do about it. I mean, if Kellogg's would have kept looking like this all their life, yes, they would have died out in 1920. Okay, but what they did is, after they matured, they sort of made some modifications and bumped things up a little bit, came up with new packaging, probably added a little bit more sugar to it, and things like this. And that's going to be our challenge, is to think about these brands, not how we just write them out and milk them until they're dead, but how we can actually try to revitalize things. Now, in trying to diagnose why this happens, what we're going to do today is we're going to use some examples that you've had some experience with. I'll break you into groups of 4 and 3 or 4. And what I want you to do is see if you can come up with, try to find at least one international student in your group, but try to come up with an international brand, okay, that was once really, really, really famous, really super popular, and then it's totally died out to the point that either it went out of business or it's currently a joke, okay? Now, you can think of really gimmicky products. I mean, like Hello Kitty or you know, things like that. But you can try to, if you think of like legitimate products too, that didn't die just because of fad and it died because of another reason, it's going to give us the basis of what we need to then go on to the next step in this class. Okay, so just get together with 3 or 4 other people and come up with a brand. A brand that died and why you believe it died. Oh, man. Bring it on home. Who wants to start off? Who had a cool product that was once great, is now dead, I tell you. Grace, is it?
May.
May, I'm sorry.
My product is the Tamagotchi. Those like little digital
What caused those to lose their coolness? What caused them to get old? What caused them to die? Other than neglect.
They were annoying. There was a time when kids thought it was really cool that I think people just kind of grew up, and then like the next generation didn't really get into that anymore.
Why didn't they though?
They have like other things like iPads to play with. I don't know. There was like a lot of other new technology that came out.
Okay, that kind of came. Okay,
Some
good.
new things.
Okay, what's another one? Very good. What's another one? Yes, yes.
We did the Walkman.
Oh, good.
Blast from the past. That's right.
And what caused that to die?
Well, changes in technology and overseas competition would be the 2 biggest things for that.
Yeah, it's me. You know, I was on a flight maybe last week or something like that, and I saw some guy with like a disc man, or what do you call it? They call him disc man. Which kind of took the place of the Walkman. And the person's hearing it and did a double take. It's just, you know, like, it seemed like a small dinosaur in the airport. Okay, but there's a better technology that came out. It's a lot cheaper for technology, and there's not a whole lot you can do when that happens. Ugh. Yes? MySpace. Wow, what happened to that?
Other social media websites, Facebook, Twitter, better security.
But didn't MySpace have a lot of tremendous things going for it that Facebook didn't have?
I guess people valued more internet security, which MySpace didn't have.
Oh, did it?
Facebook has privacy settings, and it's more exclusive at first was Facebook, then MySpace, and then it became this international thing.
Okay. You don't have to worry about your mom sending all your pictures around at Christmas time, whatever, yeah. Okay, good. What else? Yeah, way back there.
We sent to Furby.
Explain to people what the Furby is. Some people are trying to block it from their memory.
It had batteries in it and it talked to you, but if you take the batteries out, sometimes they still talk.
So what caused it to die out?
It was a fad and it was pretty creepy. And it smelled bad too.
Then it should have caught on if it smelled bad as creepy. There's some things that became really successful. They didn't all of a sudden come out with a smelly version, right? They didn't all of a sudden come up with, like the creepo version, or foamy. I got a friend who's bought a dog. He's a really funny person. He was thinking of naming the dog Foamy. Why were you guessing it died out? Why else are you thinking it died out?
It was a fad when people moved on pretty soon from the Furby to other things. I think the Game Boy came out at that time.
Okay. Other ideas? Yes.
Parents hated it.
I'm sorry?
Parents hated the Furby
Oh, parents hated it because...
because it was really annoying and it kept talking.
Okay, thanks, Emily. What else do you have that died out?
Concord Airplane?
Sorry?
Concord Airplane.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. What happened to the Concord?
It was late 90s, they were advertising them to be really, really fast and exclusive, and then I think they needed a special sort of tarmac, and they mentioned that there was some security problems.
That's right, there's only like 4 runways in the galaxy you can land at, right? One was like the Death Star.
I remember in the late 90s, I always thought, oh, I want to ride a plane, but it sounded really fast and exclusive, and then they were gone.
Yeah, they're very good. Yeah, they didn't last well.
The main reason why I went over this is because it was too expensive. Maintain the Concourse and they have enough passengers who
Very good, very
the prices were
very good. Because when we look at all these different things with old products, what usually happens is there's some sort of change in attitude or it's a change in awareness. So the change in attitude, let's say attribute 1 versus attribute 2, for instance. Let's say with the Walkman, for instance, we'd have design, we'd have having, let's say, price might be the 2 attributes there. But all of a sudden it became tremendously this old product became tremendously sort of like overcome by other things that were cheaper or they were better in different ways. Whatever the attributes were actually most important, what happens is they became dominated by another product. So there's some sort of change in attitude, often based on just the product becoming dominated. But the second big thing, the reason tour brands die, are changes in awareness. For some reason, you just are no longer aware or think of the product. Like Blackjack Gum, maybe it is still around, but it's lost a lot of its traction, partly because a lot of other really cool gums came out that tasted a whole lot better. And the second thing was they just stopped advertising, they stopped getting the visibility. And all of a sudden, people are like, "Yeah, man, is that still around?" And that I would imagine there's probably some sort of Walkman spin-offs that are still around, but you'd never hear of them. It's being the reason that things die real fast. See, there's a kind of there's a neat story about was on a train with his accountant, and they're going like 60 miles an hour. The accountant said, "Do you know how much money we could save if we stopped advertising?" He says, "Because we have so much of the market share." And the CEO goes, "How fast do you think this train's going?" And the guy goes, "About 60 miles an hour." He goes, "How fast do you think it'd be going if we stopped giving it coal?" And his point was that part of the reason you advertise isn't necessarily even to get more successful, it's just to maintain the awareness, unless you be successful in the first place. Thanks a lot, sir. Appreciate that.